Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Please have a seat. Thank you, Chuck, for that introduction, and more importantly, for your leadership as National President of the Fraternal Order of Police. I want to recognize the entire order and all its leaders, including Jim Pasco, for everything that you do on behalf of the fine officers who walk the beat or answer the call and do the difficult work of keeping our communities safe all across the country. I want to also acknowledge FOP Auxiliary President Linda Henney for the good work that she and all her members do to support the families of police officers. We're very grateful to you. To Speaker Boehner, Leader Pelosi, members of Congress, members of my administration who are here, to all the law enforcement officials who are here, and most of all to the survivor families. The scripture tells us none of us lives to himself and none of us dies to himself. None of us lives to himself and none of us dies to himself. The brave officers we gather to remember today devoted themselves so fully to others, to serve and to protect others, that in the process they were willing to give their lives. And so today, let us not remember them just for how they died, but also for how they lived. Officer Bruce St. Laurent of the Jupiter, Florida Police Department was, according to a friend, just what a cop should be: tough, compassionate, caring, and brave. But to his community, he was more than a cop. He was a cancer survivor. He was a guest teacher at Jupiter High School who used the laws of traffic to help kids learn physics. He was an amateur snake charmer of sorts, eagerly taking panic calls about snakes on the loose. And at Christmas time, he loved being Santa Claus for the kids in the local Head Start program. I have the privilege of working with some of the nation's finest law enforcement officers and professionals every day, and I'm perpetually mindful of the sacrifices they make for me and for my family and for other leaders and visiting dignitaries, but never more so than when I was told that Officer St. Laurent was struck and killed by another vehicle while driving his motorcycle as part of my motorcade. Bruce was a loving husband to Brenda, a doting father to Larry and Albert and Lenny and Chartel. And he'll be missed so deeply by his family at home and by his family in the force. And the police officers who came from all over the country to attend Bruce's funeral, some bringing their motorcycles as far away as California, they're a testimony to how much he'll be missed. Like Bruce, Deputy Sheriff Barbara Ann Pill of Brevard County Sheriff's Office in Florida was a force for good in her community, remembered as a behind-the-scenes hero by those who knew her. Because for Barbara, helping others was never a question. Before joining the force, she counseled abused children and helped families struggling with domestic abuse. That passion served her and led her to a career in law enforcement and inspired her two sons to follow. So when Barbara was shot while investigating a suspicious vehicle last spring, not only did her husband Steve lose his partner of more than 30 years, the town of Melbourne and the nation itself lost one of its most dedicated citizens. All of you in law enforcement, you devote your lives to serving and protecting your communities.